Al-Azhar Park in Cairo. On the western side of the park is the old Fatimid city and its extension, Darb al-Amar, with its wealth of mosques and shrines, decorated with a long line of minarets. To the south is the Sultan Hassan Mosque and its surroundings, in addition to the Saladin Castle. Open. The hill on which the park is located provides a high view of the city, and gives a wonderful 360-degree panoramic view of the attractive views of historic Cairo. Before starting work, the study was a large rubbish site. The workers had to remove the piles of rubbish and stones that had accumulated over a period of 500 years, with materials estimated to be 80,000 wagons loaded at the site over the centuries, and during the preparation of the site many tremendous discoveries were made. These discoveries included the discovery of the Ayyubid city wall, which dates back to the 12th century during the reign of Saladin, in addition to many precious stones with hieroglyphic inscriptions. These older stones, some of which are up to 1 meter in length, were used in the construction of Saladin's wall. In order to uncover the wall that was buried through time, it was necessary to dig to a depth of 15 meters, 1.5 kilometers of the wall with its harmless towers and balconies, which appeared in all their splendor. It was designed by engineer Mar Steno, Egyptian, and implemented by Egyptian companies with Egyptian competencies. Al-Azhar Park Gardens. Justice in 1984, the Aga Khan IV was visiting Cairo for a conference. From the hotel balcony, the study hill, in Arabic, the study plateau, was visible, debris and rubble that had accumulated over the course of 500 years. He decided to step in and offer that medieval region through the Historic Cities Support Program the much-needed gift of an oasis in this urban desert. The project has been earmarked for $30 million and has been placed in the qualified hands of the local Architecture and Urbanization Office, Sites International. The site posed several technical challenges. 1,000 years of wreckage was at hand. Excavation, leveling and appropriate backfilling began in 1992. More than 765,000 cubic meters were removed from the park and 160,000 cubic meters were used to fill other places on the site. Another 605,000 cubic meters was subjected to geotechnical treatment, sieving, washing, etc., and mixed with 60,000 cubic meters of sand, specialties and topsoil to enable the site to be covered with a layer of good soil from 0.5 to 2.0 meters deep, and a total of 1.5 million cubic meters of aggregate and soil was transported, which represents more than 80,000 trucks. 5. While the designers were dealing with the technical difficulties at hand, the hand imposed by the terrain and soil, the government introduces an additional, unexpected constraint halfway through the process. 3 cisterns were to be incorporated into the terrain to improve the potable water supply for the city of Cairo. Works had to be interrupted and the design revised to incorporate the 3 new elements. The new revised layout of the park was then carefully designed according to the landscape of the hill and the 3 new water tanks. It is mainly divided into 5 sections according to the slope of the slope, which leaves as 2 hills, southern and northern, a rolling terrain to the east, a flat area to the north and a steep western slope. The designers insisted on incorporating traditional Islamic landscaping traditions into their design and choice of green spaces, thus allowing the city's past flow to come back to life. Traditions and historical legacy have been preserved. This legacy can be seen in a variety of styles from different periods and different regions. This is reflected in the orchard-like spaces, the shaded sitting areas, takbush, and the Fatimid arches used in the construction of park buildings, among other elements. Persian and Timurid elements are also reflected in the aqueducts and fountains. 5. The Nile, the symbol of Egypt and Cairo, also finds a place in the new project as the river was designed to feed the pools of water in the garden. The farm has also been carefully selected, according to the landscape and soil quality. Several tests were carried out at the American University in Cairo that offered its own nursery for the propagation of garden plants to ensure that the appropriate choices were made for the climate. Opened to the public in 2005, Al-Azhar Gardens is reminiscent of historical gardens, with a mixture of modern and traditional elements. Formal gardens with central terraces, emphasizing use of fountains, polychrome stonework, sunken gardens, crisscrossing waterways, and bold Islamic architecture are incorporated into the design of a contemporary site. Cafes are located at the entrance, playgrounds and picturesque views are arranged along the curved paths. The site is supported by a reservoir created for the project. 6. Restoration of the Ayyubid Wall. Justice. The Ayyubid Wall in Al-Azhar Park, Cairo. While excavations were still underway, a treasure was discovered under the Garbage Mountains, a wall 15 meters deep in a 1.5-kilometer section. The forgotten historical Ayyubid Wall and towers have been revealed in all their splendor. It soon became apparent that the new exposed gem was inseparable from the garden project. The stone wall, buried over centuries, has been subjected to various forms of deterioration such as flaking and fragmentation. The part of the wall forms a unified piece of masonry. It is composed of a few repetitive elements, such as towers with circular facades and curtain walls, and is consistent in its use of materials. Opening square bracket closing square bracket. The walls are decorated and punctuated by crevices, arrow slits, stairways and rooms. 7. Among the buildings that were discovered and restored are two former eastern gates to the city, Bab al-Barkaya and Bab al-Maruk. Activate the Red Trail. Justice. The unveiling of the Ayyubid Wall sheds light on the neighboring Darb al-Ammar area. The residents of the area, one of the poorest in Cairo, lacked adequate sanitation and garbage collection services due to their location next to the old city waste complex. But that was the problem on the surface. Al-Darb al-Ammar was suffering from helplessness and troubles on several levels. Lack of education, sanitation and hygiene, unsanitary living conditions and extreme poverty were deeper problems. With the new improvement brought by the park to the area, the Al-Darb al-Ammar neighborhood is now in a prominent danger of gentrification, causing its residents to be displaced with new luxury projects. The area also includes more than 60 historical monuments that have come under heavy pressure. With the AKDC lacking the funding to contain this new chapter in the project, the Aga Khan has once again demonstrated agility and commitment to its promise. New institutions providing complementary funding, such as the Egyptian-Swiss Development Fund and the Ford Foundation, have been contacted to initiate a revitalization program for the Al-Darb al-Ammar region and to continue the program flow. The impact of the rehabilitation program on the area is on two levels. On the material side, the rehabilitating and restoring the historical monuments that are in danger. We reconstructed the minaret of the mosque in al-Sultan Shaban School based on research and studies about the previous minaret that collapsed during an earthquake, and we reconstructed it in order to show people its shape, in order to rebuild them. Create the past, which would otherwise be lost forever. Opening square bracket closing square bracket. We not only restore the antiquities, but we also aim to make them practical and useful for users. 8. The project started mainly with 3 buildings: the Kirbek complex, the Mamluk and Ottoman monument, the restoration of the Darb Shoglan school to be used as the headquarters of the Community Development Company, and the al-Sultan Shaban complex. It was later extended to include more buildings and public spaces. On the other hand, the intangible aspect was introduced, a more sustainable project that affects the population to stimulate social and economic growth. First, although the area is inhabited by one of Cairo's poorest residents, family life has remained strong. Small family businesses, including carpentry, tile making, and other small crafts, continued to provide a living for a portion of the local population. These resources were used and amplified by the program that was introduced. Training workshops were offered and some long-lost crafts were reintroduced, such as the arabesque woodcarving techniques. The project also created many job opportunities. For example, the Ayyubid Wall restoration project was transformed into collective job opportunities, as all the workforce was recruited from Al-Darb al-Ammar and special training workshops were provided. Carpentry skills were also used to produce furniture for Al-Azhar Park. The community as a whole has also been involved in maintaining the park. Other training courses have also been arranged in the fields of computer, mobile phone services, car electronics, office skills, and tourism market goods. Finally, to complement the long-term social and economic development, microloans have been provided to more than 400 individuals to help develop their businesses. The many programs were also offered to women. In fact, in 2008, of the 159 individuals who attended the course, 59% of them were women. 9. The Women's Empowerment Initiative is a very innovative and positive aspect of this project. Indeed, The impact of the Al-Azhar Park project will certainly achieve some of the Millennium Development Goals (MDGs) set by the United Nations at the beginning of the 21st century. The integrated project achieved 3 of the Millennium Development Goals: eradicating extreme poverty by expanding microcredit and generating employment, ensuring environmental sustainability through rehabilitation and raising awareness of cultural and natural assets, and, finally, strengthening partnerships and local networks by pooling stakeholder resources. 10. Urban Square and Historic Cairo Museum. Justice isometric laser scan data image of part of the 12th century Ayyubid wall on the border of Al-Azhar Park, including Bab al-Telegram Gate. At the northern end of the park, the Urban Plaza project is being developed, which will house the Museum of Historic Cairo. Urban Plaza will be a mixed-use center with underground parking, shops and cultural facilities. It is being built by the Aga Khan Trust for Culture in cooperation with the Supreme Council of Antiquities in Egypt. 11. The museum will describe the development of Egypt's capital, Cairo. 12. And harboring some of the great wealth of art and artifacts from the city's Islamic heritage that are not currently on display. With an exhibition space of 4,000 square meters spread over 2 floors, the museum is expected to display 1,000 objects from different historical periods. It will provide visitors with an insight into the urban, cultural and architectural history of the heart of Cairo. To preserve and restore all the artifacts and artwork that will be displayed in the museum, the fund has established a major conservation laboratory, which trains young technicians in this field. It is also used to restore important artistic and architectural elements of the Cairo Museum of Islamic Art.